So I grew up in Washington Heights, and I lived on 175th Street, across the street from the famous United Palace. I don't know if you've ever heard, but I was always known as the kid on, in the building or on the fourth floor that had weed. I was the guy that had it all the time. So I kind of wanted to just use that origin story in my company and my brand, because I thought it would be way more genuine than just, having a name that had to do with, it was cannabis related or just something trendy. And I wanted to tell my story. So when I was in about 2009, I was about 19 years old. I was living in my friend's apartment, and I was like sleeping on his couch. It was like a plastic covered couch. I was broke. Like it was bad. I was sleeping on that thing every night.
Sometimes
yeah, exactly. So
my black grandmothers had that.
Exactly. Yeah, and it wasn't comfortable at all. So at the time, my connect and my OG, which somebody I looked up to, he had gotten arrested and went to federal prison eventually for 7 years of his life for a cannabis-related conviction. And I was having trouble finding quality cannabis at an affordable price. So what I was doing, I figured, why not do it myself? And I was reading High Times one day, and on the back of the High Times, they were selling a DVD, and it said "Grow Your Own." So I figured, shit, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna order this $30 DVD, and I'm gonna get whatever information I possibly could. And I'm going to try to cultivate myself. Before you knew it, I had a two lighter in the middle of Washington Heights.
Word. That's it.
It didn't work out. It didn't work out, definitely didn't, but it was an experience. So in order for me to learn how to grow cannabis, I definitely needed more information. So I quickly started doing research on if there was any way I could get education on cultivation, or if there were any schools available that provided education on that. What I did, I found Oaksterdam University. So Oaksterdam University is a university out of California. They teach cannabis business and cultivation and all sorts of things, cannabis related. So I wanted to go, but it was $15,000 up front, no payment plans. They wanted their money now. I wasn't going to pay that. Absolutely not. I was not going to pay that. So what I did, I purchased the textbook from Oaksterdam University, and I read it front to back 5 times. And I got a lot of information from that. And I still have that version and the newer version on my coffee table to this day. And I come back to it whenever needed. Yeah.
How long did it take you to initially read that?
I want to say a few months. I was really invested. I was really invested in for the first, to read it for the first time. It took about a few months. I was really invested. I was reading every day for a few hours, so it was a couple thousand pages, but I got it done within a few months for the first time. Ed Rosenthal is a guy that wrote this book. He's actually a cultivation guru. His word is Bible to me, so I'm listening to anything he says. I actually followed up with books about terpenes and books of how to save your garden, and things like that actually helped me, and along with assistance from other growers. I entered cannabis competitions that connected me with other growers and allowed me to pick their brain for information. So One of my favorite strains that I grow is the Lime Pop OG. This is one that I unfortunately lost over time because I couldn't keep a mother plant. But the Lime Pop OG was special to me because it was a light green, really chunky nug structure. And you know, nowadays everybody's looking for purple weed. Everybody likes purple cannabis, and it's not played out to me, but you know, I'm getting, you know, I miss my green weed. You know, so it was very light colored, very, very beautiful and chunky, and it was colored covered with trichomes, and it was just beautiful. Then I had a Dominican cake, which I named obviously after my background. I'm Dominican. It reminded me of Dominican cake so much, and I just had to give it that name. It was great. It tasted great. It was awesome.
I got to try that.
I wish I had it still, man. I wish I did have it still.
I'm not no stranger to no Dominican cake, my
Yeah.
brother. I got to try that.
Dominican cake, man. The best ones come out of the apartments in New York City. You know, first floor apartments with all the kids running around. Yeah, definitely.
That's anyone that I've had stems from somebody's grandmother who's lived there.
Yeah.
Who passed it down to somebody who lives around here.
So I'm gonna try to, you know, bring that one back. Hopefully I can, like, you know, create a cross between two strains that can, like, replicate that feeling that I had when I found that strain.
I'm gonna encourage you to go even a step further and also try to make it tres leches.
Yeah, tres leches. I think that one's been done. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it's okay. It's all right. We can do our version of the tres leches too. Yeah. And then we have the one of probably my most favorite and most meaningful strains to me, which is the Jackie's Iced Tea. This one I named after my aunt that passed away from COVID. Her name was Jacqueline Towns. She was so energetic, and she was so, you know, her laughter was infectious, and she was just such an outgoing person and so happy, and she just enjoyed enjoyed having a good time. So this strain kind of gave those effects, and it immediately reminded me of her, and it also tasted like she would have this Lipton iced tea in her fridge when we were growing up, and every time I would come over to her house, I would make sure I grab a cup of that Lipton iced tea because it was just amazing to me, and it had kind of a taste that reminded me of that iced tea, so I just named it after her, and it's just super meaningful to me. Yeah, and I still have that one around also, so you know, I got you soon.
Everybody, thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
I'm focusing on growing cannabis for the healing effects. Pretty much, I want to formulate a library of genetics to cater to just about anybody. I want to create strains that are going to be, you know, more relaxing for certain people. I want to create strains that are going to be more uplifting for certain people that are looking for that. I also want to focus on the terpenes, because the terpenes are what are going to give you this effect, rather than just focusing on THC and potency. The terpenes are what's most important.
So healing is your goal.
Healing is the ultimate goal. Absolutely, 100%. So I'm always gonna go for the flower first. I like to differentiate the different cultivars just by like smelling and being able to smoke and taste them. So that's always gonna be my first choice. Yeah. I want to say Indica definitely has more healing properties that tailor to my needs.
Sure.
Yeah. I like to. I need to chill sometimes. Yeah. So the benefits of using Indica for me, I tend to struggle with a healthy work-life balance. So Indica and cannabis actually allows me to be able to, you know, ease my mind at the end of the day. So when I come home and after a 12 or 14 hour, however long I've been working, because building a company's tough. Uh, so after I'm running all day long, I kind of need to just it allows me to just like ease an anxious mind and be able to be present with my family. So indica, yes, I use it most likely every day. But I don't discriminate. I love sativas also. I use it. I think there's a setting for everything, and I think that sativas throughout the day help me be able to get everything done in a timely manner, because everybody knows if you use indica throughout the day, it might slow you down a little bit. Just a little bit, yeah. Yeah, so I had a cannabis competition. The first one I've ever done was in Maine. We actually drove up there together. I was on a mission. I drove up there like pretty much nonstop. I drove the whole entire way. It was like 8.5 hours. And I was ready to sleep in my car because the day we got there, the competition was set for the next day, and I had no idea. So we had to like actually stay overnight in Maine. But I didn't want my girl to sit and sleep in the car, so I went and got a hotel room. But yeah, it was beautiful. It was in the heart of COVID, so like there was a field that was able to hold thousands of people, but there were only maybe if that 100 people, if that, because nobody wanted to show up because they were scared of COVID. And actually, the only people that were showing up were the people that were contestants for the Cannabis Cup. Yeah. So I actually got third place that year. I got third place that year out of all of the contestants that were there.
Hey,
all of the entrants. So that was my first competition ever. Landed third place then. My second competition was the New York City Craft Cannabis Cup. That's when the first competition I entered the Jackie's Iced Tea. That's when I pretty much created the Jackie's Iced Tea. And then the second competition, I re-entered that Jackie's Iced Tea into the New York City Craft Cannabis Cup at Harlem Farms. If you want to follow them at Harlem Farms, they should have this every year. I entered the Jackie's Iced Tea there, and I also won 5th place that year out of all of the contestants. The reason why, honestly, I feel like I didn't perform as well is because, unfortunately, my wife was diagnosed with an astrocytoma in her spine. So she's been battling. That was like right at the beginning when the competition was in effect, and I was more focused on being there for her rather than putting the effort into the grow. But I still did okay. Yeah.
Hey, clap up for the mic, bro.
So another property that I enjoy, another cannabinoid that I enjoy is CBD. I thoroughly enjoy CBD. I've been taking CBD every day for the past 6 years. I take about 10 to 20 milligrams of CBD a day. It also helps ease anxiety and stress. It helps, it has a long list of benefits. It helps with people that suffer from epilepsy. It helps with, chronic inflammation. It helps with ease neurological diseases. There's so many benefits to CBD, and I think everybody should, educate themselves on CBD and hopefully use it as often as I do. And when it's combined with THC, it creates like an entourage effect, and it just heightens the experience. So it's great. I love CBD. My wife uses creams all the time. She uses it every day. I actually feel like cannabis has been helpful in her journey with her cancer. Yeah. It's like you can make so many products out of hemp. You can make buildings out of hemp. So it's a it's a plant and something that I feel like people are overlooking every day. That can be so valuable to our society. So these shoes right here are made out of hemp, actually. This is a Stussy Nike collab. It's an Air Force One made entirely out of hemp.
Got that fire on there.
Yeah. So obtaining the license was fairly easy, easier than I thought, at least. I feel like the state of New Jersey gave the opportunity to me because I was a social equity applicant and because I was focusing on being a micro business. They said that they would give this privilege to us because of this. So, all I really had to do was create a business plan and connect with the right people and get the ball, rolling. And came in pretty, the results came in pretty quickly. I was happy. I was happy when I got word that the CRC granted us this. They kept their promise and they granted the minorities and the social equity applicants the right to jump in the game first.
Shout out to Jeff Brown and Weston White over at the CRC for processing those papers. Yeah?
Definitely, and shout out to all the advocates too that really put the effort to get us that priority, because without them, I could give you a couple. One of them that actually made me go towards legalization was Jessica Gonzalez, for sure. She's been killing it. She's Latina. She definitely was fighting for minority rights. And another one was Joshua Alb has been an influence on me because he is a Latino in cannabis. And he created a company called Cannabis, which is going to provide free education to people, free cannabis education to people. It's beautiful. I went to one of his seminars one day. I stayed there all day from 10 in the morning to 3 p.m. and I got a bunch of information. And that same day I went home and I began my journey to become legalized. So thank you, Joshua Alb, for creating Cannabis. So I think it's amazing what he's doing, and I think that without his influence and without Jessica's influence, I would have probably not tried to obtain my legal license. Okay, so the difference between a micro license and a commercial license is pretty much the amount of space and the amount of workers you're allowed to have. So the concept behind the micro business was formulated to prevent major corporations from coming into New Jersey and monopolizing the market. So micro licenses have priorities over commercial licenses. So they're handing licenses out to micro businesses before the commercial license. So I felt like that would be perfect for me to get in the door, really learn how to operate this cannabis business, this cannabis company for the first time, and then creating harmony and automation within that company, and then really scaling according to my success. So that's it for me. Yeah. So as a social equity applicant, I feel like the CRC gave me enough information solely off of the website. They put a lot of information on the CRC website so that I can understand how to obtain my conditional license. I would say that, like, subsequent to me receiving the conditional license, the CRC made my information public. So, now they're listing all of the companies that are that received those first conditional licenses, and it's public information. So now in my inbox, I'm getting emails from construction companies. I'm getting emails from insurance companies. There's retail locations trying to get letter of intents from me. There's all kind of companies that are right in my inbox that are gonna allow me to build my cannabis company the way I need to. So all of the resources are there. So I don't know if that was the CRC's intent when they released the information, but if it was, it's working. So I definitely love hiking. Like if you look on my IG, and if you've been following me for a little while, I love hiking. Like there's nothing better than, there's no better feeling or more rewarding feeling than hiking 80 minutes up the side of a mountain and like really just getting some of the best views of your life and sitting there with your homies and just smoking a joint. Like it's amazing. It's so rewarding and it's beautiful, and it just takes me to another like world where I'm not, my anxious mind is not working. I'm just relaxed. Yeah, I really like the Stairway to Heaven. It's by Mountain Creek. So if you take a ride down there, it's a little bit past Mountain Creek, and the entrance is like right off the highway. So you park your car and then you walk up, and it's gonna take about 60 to 70 minutes to get up to the top, and then you just have some of the best views ever, and it's so peaceful.
Is there any place else that you recommend?
Man, there's also one called, there's a lot, man. We've gone cliff jumping. There's one in New Jersey. I'll get you the name in a second. We go cliff jumping. We went to the ice caves. We've driven up to 2 hours just to like find these locations. Yeah, man, that was really like into it at one point. Yeah, like we were really. There was points where it was so influential to our friends that we would be like 20 deep going into these hikes, and it was great. It was like a movement at one point. Yeah, it was fun, man. We had a lot of great time. Recently, I've been like into, I've been more into building the company. So it's been a while, but it's still gonna be always my best pastime while smoking, for sure. So tonight I'm already excited because I already know what I'm gonna smoke. So that's a great question. I'm excited to go home and try this Alpha. It's a strain called Alpha. It's a buddy of mine. He owns a company named The Lifestyle. He created this strain with one of his friends, and it's called Alpha, and it's amazing. Like I just got a fresh batch, and I can't wait to get home and roll up and smoke it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.